On Valentine's Day 2020, while a local businessman's wife and children were away on vacation, he went online to scope out an escort services website. What might have started as a single transaction quickly spiraled into a twisted, year-long relationship fueled by methamphetamine, financial greed, and a shared descent into sexual sadism. This is the case of 32-year-old Kenzie Aubrey, a woman who had recently moved away from her family in Texas to Kansas City. Struggling with addiction and isolated from her loved ones, Kenzie was looking for a fresh start. Instead, she met her neighbor, Maggie Ibara, and the two quickly became friends and lovers. But Ibarra was hiding a dangerous secret. Her main source of survival came from working as an escort, and her primary client, a sugar daddy, was 40-year-old Michael Hendrickx, a successful IT business owner and family man. To the outside world, Hendrickx played the role of a beautiful husband and father, but in reality, he was consumed by a secret sexual fetish centered entirely on violence and killing. He wore his perversions directly on his back, where a massive, terrifying tattoo depicted a demon strangling an angel with a chain. For months, Ibarra indulged his dark, sadistic fantasies in exchange for financial support, which paid for her home, her car, and her lifestyle. Hendrickx frequently fantasized out loud about murder, and his online search history grew increasingly depraved, including search terms like strangle and necrophilia. Ibarra knew about these horrifying fetishes from the very first day they met, yet, driven by financial greed, she agreed to act as bait, actively recruiting other vulnerable, drug-addicted women to bring into Hendrick's clutches. Tragically, she chose Kenzie Aubrey. On October 7, 2020, after Kenzie got into a fight with her roommate, Ibarra and Hendrickx sent an Uber to bring Kenzie home under the guise of a safe place to get high. After a night of drug use, Hendrickx arrived the following morning. The three engaged in a threesome in Ibarra's bed. In an instant, the situation turned lethal. Hendrickx pinned Kenzie down, placed his hands around her throat, and begun squeezing. Kenzie tapped his arm twice, desperately signaling for him to stop. Ibarra lay right next to them, completely aware of what was happening. She knew the terrifying strength of Hendrick's grip, having previously lost consciousness herself from his strangulation. Yet, she did absolutely nothing to intervene. As Kenzie fought for her life, Ibarra simply looked away and paced the room while Hendrickx maintained a chillingly calm demeanor. The brutal strangulation lasted for at least 4 agonizing minutes until life finally left Kenzie's body. The cover-up began immediately. While Hendrickx went to work and took his business calls, Kenzie's body was carried down to the basement and stuffed into a freezer. The next day, Ibarra helped Hendrickx load the freezer into a U-Haul truck to transport it to his property. In a crazed attempt to erase the evidence, Hendrickx dismembered Kenzie's body, loaded the remains into containers, and took off in his personal helicopter with Ibarra beside him. They flew to a remote sandbar on the Missouri River, where Hendrickx attempted to dump the body parts into the water. When the remains failed to sink, a panicking Hendrickx loaded them back into the helicopter and flew home, calling a neighbor from the air to request a black hole to bury the containers under his bedroom window. For